Hey everybody, it's Commander Clyde. Welcome back to another SMITE Duel Tierlist update. Today our main goal is to place these two onto the tier list, obviously, and then we'll look at anything else that needs to have a quick change. Okay, scroll down please. There we go. And we're going to throw Persephone in S-, I'm going to say right now. Seems like a fairly safe placement, but I still feel like there's still a bit to understand about her. Once players figure out how her plants function, she's a lot less threatening. If you pay attention, her walking plants actually have a timer on the corner in the bottom right that you can see, and when it runs out, that's when they'll bite. And if you literally just run away from them in a straight line, they won't catch you if you do that. There's also a trick for running directly at them, apparently, that will cause them to go off, but you'll actually be through the hitbox before they actually deal the damage to you. So it's a good way to manipulate. Her one's not... It doesn't have the greatest targeting, and if you pay attention, you can avoid that pretty well also. If you got a god with some type of CC immunity, she's not difficult to chase at all. I've found, like, example, you know, gods like Osiris, Raven, Chalk even, gods that have CC immune abilities that can also chase her seem to do really well against her. And of course, if you have something like Set, you can get on top of her and DPS and kill her before she's able to get all her damage off, and then walk away. The thing I see is that these characters have better ways to deal with her, so they don't struggle as much. As long as you understand how the plants work and you pick a decent character, she's not going to give you that much trouble. Yemoja we know nothing about, literally. She's not even in ranked yet, but I'm going to go ahead and place her because she's here. I'm going to be incredibly safe and stick her in A, which is a good starting spot for any god, especially a guardian. There's just not enough to know about her yet to justify putting her up into A+ territory or something like that. You know, granted, she's got a good amount of healing and her abilities can do a lot of damage. I'm not sure about how that's going to fit into the duel meta. I'll have to see before I start moving her. Anyway, so there's that. Let's see if there's some gods I want to change. So, I did talk about Raven earlier, and I'm going to go ahead and move him up into S-. I think his kit works really well into the current meta. Especially, like I mentioned, gods like Persephone, he's really effective against. He's seemed to be a lot more effective to me lately, especially with like the buff to Heartseeker and things like that. He's gotten quite a bit stronger lately, in my opinion, and I think he needs to be moved up. Freya, almost exclusively because of lack of play, I'm moving her down to S-. Also the fact that she's incredibly ineffective right now. Her early game is non-existent at all, and she can't build up enough DPS against you to come back very well, so she's barely getting played. She's got to move down. These gods can probably all stay. No indications that they need to move to me. Except actually Set, we're going to go ahead and move up to S. God's a lot more effective than I had anticipated against some matchups I thought he would struggle in. Case in point, certain warriors, which I thought he struggles with. He does struggle against warriors. That's by far the class he's the most ineffective against. But his DPS was a lot more than I had bargained for at first, so got to put him up into S. Let's see. This is very tentative here. I'm gonna move Collie down actually, which kind of surprises me, but her pick rate in the meta is pretty low, and her effectiveness has kind of started slipping a little bit, especially with the addition of new items and things like that that make other gods better. She's easier to burst and kill before she can kill you. Granted, again, she's still got a monster of a late game, and if you can get there, you have a really good chance of winning. That's gotten a lot harder lately, so I don't think Collie is justified as being up here with some of the best gods in the mode, or with the best gods in the mode, I should say. Let's see, these gods stay here. King Arthur is working out about how I expected him to, so he's not going to move. I think these gods are all good right here. I think I'm actually going to move Nike up a tier. Her buff she got was actually pretty great, and it allows her to box a lot better against other characters. She couldn't do that before. If you guys saw, I went up against Rexy Susanoo and actually gave him a tough game playing Nike, so I think that's justification to move her up. Same thing with Thor. He got a buff that was pretty significant, and I think he can compete a lot better now than he used to, because his 3 is really short and it deals a lot of damage. A lot harder to stop that DPS, and the autos after his ult make him even better at killing a target once he's landed the ult. So he moves up. I don't know why I'm looking down here. These gods don't do anything different ever. They're bad. Should just not even be looking below A tier. Speaking of A tier, there's a lot of gods in A+ now. God damn. Tyr is moving up because he got a really good buff that makes him even more effective in other matchups. The dude's got 2 knockups. I can't really argue against that. Does anybody else need to move here? I'm actually, honestly, I'm going to be straight up here. Artemis kind of sucks. I'm going to put her in A. She's a hunter, and I've always said you got to respect the class because it's built for that mode, essentially. But she's just not good. Her DPS is really low. Her autos don't do much damage. Her ult's the only good thing about her kit. And it's hard to set that up, especially when you've got a lot of gods up here that have ways to avoid it. Either to avoid it, or they don't really care about it because Artemis isn't going to be able to kill them. So, yeah, there's just not a lot for her here. Her ult's the only redeeming thing about her. She's just not played. It's really sad to put a hunter in A, but that's how I see it right now. Anyway, I don't see any other gods or anything that require big changes here, so I think we're going to leave it at that. Thanks everybody for watching this dual tier list update. Those of you reading here, well, why would you be watching the video if you're reading it here? Ha! I'll put the link up there pretty soon. No worries, everybody. Remember to check the link down in the description for this tier list. It'll be there. And with that, like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Leave a comment down below if you want. As always, I'll see you guys later for some more Smite. Have a good one. Whoops. Wrong button.